know that most of what you've seen, read, or heard about Billy the Kid is untrue? My name is Gail Cooper. I'm a medical doctor and forensic psychiatrist. My specialty is murder case consultation for the defense. For 20 years, I've used my expertise to uncover the real Billy the Kid. Researching over 40,000 pages of archival documents and books, I've written the revisionist history. It's shocking, it's liberating, and I've written books demolishing the hoaxes, hijacking the history. My talks will share with you what I've found. Cover-ups, misinformation, and fakery, to use Old West lingo, will bite the dust. This is the overview of my upcoming talks about the Billy the Kid imposter hoax of Oliver Brushy Bill Roberts. The information is from my book, Cracking the Billy the Kid Imposter Hoax of Brushy Bill Roberts. The Billy the Kid imposter hoax of Oliver Pleasant Brushy Bill Roberts, now in its 71st year, is the most enduring of that history's hoaxes, if one omits the Santa Fe Rings outlaw myth beginning in Billy Bonney's lifetime and continuing to the present. The imposter hoax claimed that mid-20th century old-timer Brushy Bill was Billy the Kid, having not been killed by Pat Garrett on July 14, 1881, because Garrett accidentally shot his look-alike friend, Billy Barlow, then hid that murder to collect the reward. Brushy Bill was portrayed as 91 and wanting the pardon promised to Billy the Kid in 1879 by New Mexico Territory Governor Lew Wallace. It took complementary skills of three men, Brushy Bill Roberts, WilliamVMorrison, and C.L. Sonneshan, to create this labor-intensive hoax. Brushy, harboring delusional Old West personas, was crazy enough to play Billy. Morrison, selling car parts and copier machines while pretending to be an attorney, was sociopathic enough to structure the scam and coach Brushy. Sonneshan, teaching English and writing quasi-fictional westerns, was ambitious enough to pose as an historian backing Brushy. Their upshots were Brushy's failed gubernatorial pardon, Brushy's promotional book, Alias Billy the Kid, and conspiracy theories rationalizing rejection of their claims. Besides everything being fake, their hoax had a gigantic flaw. Brushy Bill Roberts was under 2 years old at Billy Bonney's 1881 death. Born on August 26, 1879, he was 2 decades too young. So, like in John Miller's Billy the Kid imposter hoax, with his being almost a decade too old, the fatal information was hidden. In Brushy's case, a fictitious time-regressed family tree was invented by him. The Brushy Bill hoax had stages. Initially, profiteering WilliamVMorrison was backing a Jesse James imposter and used Brushy to vouch for him. Then Morrison switched to coaching Brushy's Billy the Kid impersonation and orchestrating his 1950 publicity stunt, Billy the Kid gubernatorial pardon quest. Brushy's failure to trick New Mexico's then governor and assembled experts, soon followed by his death, ushered in the next foray. It was a 1955 book by Sonneshan titled Alias Billy the Kid, with Morrison as second author, to hoax Brushy as Billy. It became a Bible for its duped readers. By 1990, its formula inspired Hollywood producer John Fusco to create Young Guns 2 and make the fortune that eluded Brushy, Morrison, and Sonneshin. But the book spawned new generations of hoaxers to the present. The Brushy Bill imposter hoax formula relied on audience ignorance. Devised by Morrison was the claim that Brushy had special knowledge, proving he had to be Billy the Kid. To avoid obvious accusation that Brushy read up for his impersonation, he was faked as illiterate. The two literate, real Billy the Kid letters were claimed to be written by Brushy's so-called friend, though that friend needed to be in solitary confinement with Billy in the Santa Fe jail. Morrison also gave Billy's letters to Brushy for paraphrasing in his coarse grammar to fake identity. Morrison bolstered the so-called special knowledge by coaching with other sources, with Brushy taking notes and being tape recorded as he repeated answers to memorize his lines. Morrison also took him to Lincoln to see the town and courthouse jail which had held real Billy. The fact that Fort Sumner no longer stood resulted in fatal errors, as Brushy Bill ad-libbed wildly to fill in the blanks, as he did whenever sources ran out. For the failed pardon hearing, Morrison had prepared affidavits by non-historical people claiming Brushy Bill was Billy the Kid. He also brought a meaningless collection of real Billy Bonney's documents, like copies of his letters. He also made up that the coroner's jury report for Billy the Kid didn't exist to fake Garrett's victim as not being Billy. For the alias Billy the Kid book, Sonneshin's trick was transparent tomfoolery. He used Brushy Bill's prompt sources as footnotes to pretend that they independently confirmed his special knowledge. The giveaway was that Brushy parroted their errors. Sonneshin also had footnotes with obscure period documents which he misstated to back the hoax, like acting Governor William Rich's legal consult with District Attorney William Breeden about Pat Garrett's reward for killing Billy. Payment was delayed for a legislative act converting Lew Wallace's private offer into a territorial one, but Sonneshin lied that Rich refused the reward because there was no proof of corpse identity. And, as will be seen, it was Sonneshin's own fakery that Brushy Bill elaborated for his peculiar death scene of Billy Barlow shot on the back porch of the Maxwell house, not in Peter Maxwell's bedroom. The book also recycled Morrison's fake affidavits and oddly provided the coroner's jury report. The big problem of inadequate sources in the first half of the 20th century has already been discussed with Billy the Kid imposters Blandina Segali and John Miller. For example, Sonneshin and Morrison, therefore Brushy Bill, were unaware that real Billy's name was Henry McCarty and that Billy Bonney was his alias. Things got worse in 1987 when Brushy Bill's niece, Geneva Pittman, his full brother Tom's daughter and one of disabled Brushy's family caretakers, wrote to Joe Boland, co-founder of the Billy the Kid Outlaw Gang and custodian of Fort Sumner's Billy the Kid grave, to deny his being Billy the Kid. She provided his August 26, 1879 birth date from the Roberts Family Bible. Ridiculed as fraud by early legitimate historians, the hoax languished. But in 1998, it was resuscitated by true believer dupes W.C. Jameson and Frederick Bean. Ignorant of real history, they decided to prove Brushy's special Billy the Kid knowledge by providing transcripts of his tape-recorded Morrison sessions in their book, The Return of the Outlaw Billy the Kid. So they naively proved that Brushy Bill had made worse mistakes than Sonneshin had revealed, and that Sonneshin had also forged his words to correct his fatal errors. Jameson and Beam were not innocent of that trick either. Sanitizing, they deleted Brushy's offensive racism about black Fort Stanton troops and left in by Sonneshin. To counter the Geneva Pittman problem without naming her, they claimed that Morrison's Brushy Bill was from a different family and was named Oliver L. Roberts, not her Oliver P. for Pleasant Roberts. This used a fabricated genealogy by another hoaxer named William A. Tunstall in his 1988 book, Billy the Kid and Me Were the Same, a documentary on the life of Billy the Kid. The hoax languished again, as the scholarly history books of the second half of the 20th century amassed, making clear that Brushy Bill didn't know real Billy the Kid history. Then came 2003, with New Mexico's Governor Bill Richardson's early self-promotion for his contemplated presidential run, combined with his apparent pay-to-play to a major political donor who favored Brushy Bill. Richardson brought Brushy to the world stage by announcing on that June 5th New York Times front page that he would use forensic DNA to prove Brushy Bill was Billy the Kid by proving a stranger, namely Billy Barlow, as Pat Garrett's victim, was in the Fort Sumner grave, and proving that Billy's mother's DNA matched Brushy Bill's. This hid that Brushy denied her as his mother. This hid that no valid DNA was available from the mere tourist mark or graves of Billy and his mother. This hid that the results would obviously be faked. After making Brushy Bill Billy the Kid, Richardson intended to pardon him with international press frenzy for his having led a long and law-abiding life. I named it the Billy the Kid case hoax, and it will be exposed in detail in later talks. To enable the exhumations and DNA matchings, Richardson assigned lawmen from the Lincoln and Tobacco County Sheriff's Departments to file real murder cases against Pat Garrett for murdering the innocent victim. So I got attorneys to successfully oppose their fake exhumation petitions in courts. Richardson also appointed a state university history teacher as the official historian. In 2004, that hoaxer made a History Channel documentary together with the other hoaxers, including Richardson, vouching for Brushy Bill. In 2005, the lawmen, lying that they got Billy the Kid's DNA from an old carpenter's bench, exhumed Arizona pretender John Miller for fake DNA matching to continue their bogus TV programs. Duped that the New York Times reported a legitimate investigation, a French producer made a film backing Brushy Bill, which made the 2006 Cannes Film Festival. That year, I blocked the lawmen's exhuming of Brushy Bill by informing Hamilton, Texas officials that they had no DNA for matching with anyone. Richardson's hoax ended in 2010 after I stopped his pardon of Brushy as Billy by bringing in the objecting Garrett family and Lew Wallace's great-grandson. And my 7 years of open records litigation, which I won against the hoaxer lawmen, proved they lied about having Billy the Kid DNA and had forged DNA collection reports. So just one person had stood between Brushy Bill and his Billy the Kid identity prize, me. It was a close call for reality. In 2015, another Brushy Bill family member came forward to prove Brushy was not Billy the Kid. He was Royale Hawes. In his book, Brushy Bill, Proof That His Claim to Be Billy the Kid Was a Hoax. Hawes exposed William A. Tunstall's fake Brushy genealogy with added family names of Billy Bonney by explaining that Tunstall had tricked his mother, Elaine Hawes, into vouching for it. Hawes provided the real genealogy, complicated by Brushy Bill's father's 2 marriages, both with children, around which Brushy had fabricated his fake family. Hawes also provided Brushy's true and pathetic biography of mental disability and lifelong dependence on care by Robert's family members or his 4 wives, and his delusional identities, with Billy the Kid being just one. And Hawes explained that Brushy had invented the Oliver L. Roberts name in the 1930s to hide his Oliver P. Roberts identity, to age himself 10 years, to fraudulently qualify to collect Social Security disability. Meanwhile, some of Bill Richardson's public official Billy the Kid case hoaxers kept on going. Hiding the Billy the Kid case, they lied that it was their private investigation and churned out books repeating its DNA fakery. They also forged Brushy Bill's tape-recorded transcripts to update his so-called special knowledge as Billy the Kid, and added new Billy the Kid hoaxes to claim history wasn't as written. All these shenanigans damaged real history of Billy Bonney, and not just because Brushy Bill Roberts wasn't him. Like the other imposter hoaxes, the Brushy Bill hoax advertised the Billy the Kid outlaw mythology for the Billy the Kid impersonation. Lost was recognition of the real Lincoln County War freedom fight and its fighters, like Billy Bonney. The many talks to follow will debunk in detail Brushy Bill Roberts' Billy the Kid imposter hoax. Its cast of madmen, charlatans, hucksters, forgers, windbags, and wannabes make a pathetic and unsavory lot, all insulted legitimate historical investigation. That makes the debunking and analysis of lying from delusional to malicious.